Crisis at the WRU. How leadership failures in Welsh rugby are damaging major sporting events, tourism confidence, and Wales's international reputation. Rugby is often described as the heartbeat of Wales. From Six Nations weekends in Cardiff to international tours, the sport drives tourism, fills hotels, and sustains major events. But behind the roar of the Principality Stadium, Welsh rugby is facing a leadership crisis, one that could have serious consequences for the tourism and events industry. The WRU was formed back in 1881. It very quickly became the people's game in industrial South Wales in the 19th century. Welsh Nation had created the rugby team we know today. With all the highs and lows of the sport, without fail, the nation will still sing the anthem with pride. Unlike other countries, the anthem is about the people and the country. This allows the audience to feel as one with the players and the team. The current issues within the sport is the financial challenges to keep the four teams active. This has created a divide between the WRU and fans as they are alienating supporters. The committee is currently working out how to keep grassroots rugby thriving and how to encourage more people to take part, such as girls and women. The leadership is also currently going through issues of a toxic culture within the company, where sexism, racism and homophobia are key issues. In the structure, in 2023, the business went through a structure change to create a better environment for all. CEO Steve Phillips took a step back when allegations came to light. I am investigating this because not only is it a personal interest that as a Welsh individual, I have grown up with the sport, I've seen the decline, which is very upsetting. If you investigate the place attachment theory, rugby is the security of the nation. Without the local teams to support Wales, this would be a completely different country. The Welsh Rugby Union is the governing body for all rugby in Wales. They are responsible for overseeing the sport at all levels. They have over the years created a deep-rooted passion in Welsh history. Main activities of the committee include organising competitions and managing teams at all levels. They are responsible for finding talent at young ages and making sure there is access to quality training facilities. They are also responsible for rugby infrastructure within the country to enhance the experience of players and supporters. Through strategic partnership and community engagement, the WRU keep growing the sport and make sure they are sustainable for the future. Rugby has a large impact on tourism in Wales. The 2022 Six Nations welcomed nearly 200,000 fans into the stadium. The Principality Stadium itself is the largest visitor attraction in Wales. In a regular year, visitor spend estimated to be £149 million. The Welsh economy increases significantly during the men's Guinness Six Nations. Visitor spend is an all-time high in Cardiff during home matches, with 55% of spend coming from non-Welsh spectators. The experiences massive surges. A normal day in the capital can go from £2,000 on a regular day to £15,000 on a match day. Welsh visibility has been at an all-time high with the Rugby World Cup and the Six Nations hosting games in Cardiff. This helps the country on an international level to help establish what the country is to the rest of the world. Decider matches have drawn in millions of viewers across the world, such as the 2019 Grand Slam, where 8.9 million viewers watched the anticipated match for the title cup. Guinness is not only the sponsor of the global sporting event that is the Six Nations. They play a large role in showing the story of the true Welshness of rugby. It follows the story of two sons using the inheritance of their mother to follow the Welsh team around the world and experience the culture of each country. This shows how much rugby resides with the Welsh community, but also drives tourism around the world at the same time.
And every trip we make, every game we see, it's like Mum's here with us.
2023, the issues came to light of Charlotte Wathan, former head of Wales Women's Rugby, has experienced sexual harassment from male colleagues. It was also reported that female rugby players have faced unfavourable treatment since 2021. BBC Wales investigated in a documentary which brought even more concern to light. It was then escalated to the Senedd as it was a systematic failure in Welsh culture. Bringing it to the attention of the Welsh Government meant that change was needed. 97.2% of members voted in favour of a governance change and to reform the prior leadership within the WRU. The new leadership within the Rugby Union includes new chair Richard Collier Keywood and CEO Abby Tyranny. They have already brought in an agreement for Equality and Human Rights Commission in 2024. They've also agreed to have the structure monitored for 3 years from an external company to rid of the previous issues. They are trying to hold the narrative of Welsh rugby and make the return of the golden days. The past mistakes haven't used the public sector theory. The new leadership team should use this theory to their advantage to create a trustworthy experience with public value and stakeholders. A running theme in the WRU is that decisions aren't transparent with stakeholders, but also supporters. The issue with cutting regions to 3 was behind closed doors and left players wondering where they would be playing in the coming years. This creates animosity with fans, as they aren't kept in the loop. This is important to keep the rugby spirit, but also keep Wales as a host destination. Stakeholder theory is a key example, as Wales is a rugby nation, everyone is affected by decisions, not just those with a share in the team. During the period of uncertainty in 2023, the Welsh leadership team were under a lot of scrutiny to provide confidence in the future for sponsors. Oil for Wales was a large name sponsor that pulled out as they no longer seen the benefit for the company to continue to support the country at any level of rugby because of the investigation. One sponsor that would have lost the WRU a lot was the Principality Building Society, as they held a $3 million annual name sponsor on the national stadium. There was talks about the company leaving, however they stayed. Since there is a new structure within the rugby union, this has created new management and new teams. Wales are currently seen as in a crisis. They have gone from back-to-back Grand Slams to winning 2 matches in 2 years. This has affected match day significantly, as ticket sales are plummeting. With the new young squad, there is a lack of discipline on and off the field. If the performance keeps declining, this will reduce visitor enthusiasm, which would be a large reputational damage to Wales as a brand. This will create a lack of mega rugby events to come to Wales, as the Welsh Rugby Union currently can't be relied upon. If Wales is currently placed a bid for an event, it will need to be alongside other home nations due to lack of infrastructure. Wales alone as a host destination would benefit the country. However, this will not be happening anytime soon, as the union tries to rebuild after the investigation. This will impact Wales negatively, as currently the Rugby World Cup is experiencing significant growth as they continue including new teams in the coming years. Recent financial instability in the WRU has majorly impacted local communities. Regional rugby has been hit by the news of losing a region. Swansea Council are using legal action against the WRU and the owners of the Ospreys Rugby Club. The council's argument shows that it's not fair to Swansea or the local community, as the structure now protects Cardiff and the Dragons, creating a conflict of interest as the owners of the Ospreys are now preferred bidders for Cardiff Rugby Club. Welsh rugby stems from the grassroots teams. If they are to rid of Swansea's team, this is letting down a large range of stakeholders from one of Wales's main cities. The redevelopment plan for St Helens Ground has been at the works for the Ospreys team. However, with this news, this means there is a lack of infrastructure for the rugby community in the future. Fans have described the potential loss of the club as heartbreaking. This is a change that can never be reversed, as people pick a regional team and will support this team till the day they die. The Ospreys have produced, over the years, numerous international and Lions players, showing the talent that comes from these local clubs in the area. Protests have become active over the region, including hundreds attending a public backing for the club, which has put the WRU under extreme pressure. Challenges that are currently being faced is the disconnect with the fans, as the management are under scrutiny over lack of transparency. A massive issue is player retention and performance. Since the national team is on a losing streak, there's nothing keeping the players tied to the team, which means they are finding new teams to play for and leaving the Welsh Rugby Union overall. The new strategy for Welsh rugby is One Wales. The vision is to unite people and inspire passion in Welsh rugby nation, while the mission is to work together to create exceptional experiences and opportunities for everyone throughout the game. The overall goal is for rugby to matter more, as over the years the Welsh Rugby Union hasn't been solely focused on the rugby. This is where the traditional rugby started, with the game of the people. The crisis within the Welsh Rugby Union highlights how leadership failures in sport can extend far beyond performance on the field. Rugby is deeply embedded in Welsh identity, tourism and national reputation, meaning governance changes within the WRU have created wide-range social, economic and cultural consequences. Financial instability, allegations of toxic workplace culture and a lack of transparency has weakened trust among fans, players, sponsors and local communities. Confidence is already affecting match attendance, sponsorship security and Wales's ability to attract and host major sporting events. Effective leadership is critical to the tourism and event sector because international sport relies on credibility, trust and long-term planning. When leadership is perceived as unstable or untrustworthy, it reduces destination confidence, threatens visitor spend and weakens the global image that sport and events help to promote. In the case of Wales, rugby leadership is directly tied to the nation's brand, meaning governance failures risk damaging the wider visitor economy. Recent reforms and new leadership offer an opportunity to rebuild the trust, but long-term success will depend on sustained action. Moving forward, the WRU should prioritise transparent decision-making, independent oversight, and meaningful stakeholder engagement with fans and the local community. Strengthening equality and inclusion policies, improving communication, and developing a long-term tourism and event strategy linked to rugby will be essential. If these recommendations are implemented, Welsh rugby can restore confidence, rebuild performance, and once again act as a powerful driver of tourism, events, and national pride. Without continued reform, however, the risk remains that the decline of governance and performance will continue to undermine one of Wales's most valuable cultural and economic assets.